अभी हम लोग सीखेंगे हम लोगों का जो नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है इटरेटिव स्टेटमेंट्स। हम लोग डिसीजन कंट्रोल अभी तक स्टेटमेंट का लॉजिक समझे हैं। डिसीजन कंट्रोल क्या है कि हम लोग अभी कंडीशनल ब्रांचिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट सीखे हैं। कंडीशनल ब्रांचिंग क्या है? They will help you to jump from one part of the program to another part depending on whether the particular condition is satisfied or not. They were if else if switch statement, right? Now we will study iterative statements. Now, iterative statements are done what? They are used to repeat the execution of a list of statements depending on the value of an integer expression. Three types of iterative statements are there. One is while loop. Another is do while loop. Another is for loop. Fine. Three types. First, we will study the while loop. Now, while loop, it provides a mechanism to repeat one or more statements while a particular condition is true. In while loop, what will happen is, suppose I am just writing the construct. Suppose several statements are there, and after a few statements, the while is starting. Inside the while, there will be one condition, one expression. If the expression is true, then a few statement blocks will be executed. Fine. And then this out of the loop this. Fine. So in while loop, the condition is tested before any of the statement in this statement block is executed. Before that, the condition of the while loop will be tested. If the condition is true, only then these statements in the statement box will be executed. And if this condition is false, the statements in the statement box won't be executed and the control will directly jump to statement Y without executing the statements in the statement block. That means whatever statement is immediately next to this block, that outside the while loop block, that statement will be executed. If the condition is false, the count control, it won't enter inside this loop to execute the statements inside this loop. Okay. Now this is the while loop concept. What is the do while loop concept? Similarly, do while loop में क्या होता है? It is similar to while loop, but there is a small difference. The difference is, I will just write this. ओके, while loop में क्या था, if you would have noticed, while your condition is true, then only it was entering into the block of codes which will be executed on the condition being true. And if it is false, it did not enter into the loop and it went out of the loop, and whatever statement is next to the loop, it executed. But in do while loop, what will happen is it is similar to while loop, but the test condition is tested at the end of the loop. That means for the first time, when the loop will run for the first time, this block will be executed. And from next time onwards, the checking of the condition will be done. Here, the condition was checked for the first time only. If the condition is false, पहली बार में लूप में घुसेगा नहीं. बट यहाँ पे क्या है, आपका पहले बार डू लूप में अंदर घुस के आपका जो स्टेटमेंट ब्लॉक है वो एग्जीक्यूट हुआ. होने के बाद नेक्स्ट बार से आपका कंडीशन चेकिंग का सीन आया कि नेक्स्ट काउंटर में अगर कंडीशन ट्रू है तो वो फिर से करेगा, फिर से चेकिंग होगा एंड ऑल दैट. एंड अगर नेक्स्ट बार में कंडीशन फॉल्स निकला तो वो और कुछ एग्जीक्यूट नहीं करेगा, वो स्टेटमेंट वाई पे आ जाएगा. पर यहाँ पे क्या है, आपका पहली बार में अगर कंडीशन फॉल्स है, इस लूप में घुसेगा नहीं, डायरेक्ट का स्टेटमेंट वाई पे आ जाएगा. पर यहाँ पे क्या है, एक बार वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा एंड सेकेंड बार से कंडीशन चेकिंग होगा. सेकेंड टाइम से कंडीशन में अगर ट्रू है तो बार बार एग्जीक्यूट होगा, और अगर कंडीशन सेकेंड टाइम में फॉल्स है तो सेकेंड टाइम में वो स्टेटमेंट वाई पे आएगा. दैट मीन्स it is similar to while loop, but the test condition, it is evaluated at the end of the loop. So the body of this loop, it gets executed at least once, है ना? Even if the condition is false, it is executed at least once. So this entry to this loop is actually automatic. पहली बार execute कर ही लेगा वो, condition true हो या false हो उससे मतलब नहीं, पहली बार एग्जीक्यूट कर ही लेगा. ठीक है. सो डू व्हाइल लूप इज नोन एज एग्जिट कंट्रोल्ड लूप. इट कैन नॉट कंट्रोल द एंट्री, इट कैन ओनली कंट्रोल द एग्जिट. इट इज एग्जिट कंट्रोल्ड लूप. क्यों? क्योंकि ये टेस्ट ऑफ दिस कंडीशन इज डन पोस्ट टेस्टिंग हो रहा है डू व्हाइल में, वेयर एज the while loop is a entry controlled loop. यहाँ पे कंडीशन ट्रू होगा तभी ब्लॉक में एंट्री मिलेगा, कंडीशन ट्रू नहीं होगा तो ब्लॉक में मेरा एंट्री नहीं होगा. इट इज अ entry controlled loop. Similarly, the next loop that we will study, for loop, it is also a entry controlled loop. कंडीशन फॉल्स है तो लूप के भीतर घुसेगा ही नहीं, whereas do while is a exit controlled loop. That means for at least once, for the first time, the loop will be executed and from next time onwards the conditions will be checked. Okay. अच्छा, ये तो गया while और do while. इसके बाद मेरा आएगा for loop. Okay. अब पहले for loop का थोड़ा construct लिख लेते हैं. Okay. For I equal to something, 0 ले लेते हैं, 1 ले लेते हैं, कुछ भी. I less than equal to something and I plus plus. This is the condition. For this, do this statements of code. एंड सारा कुछ हो जाएगा, उसके बाद कुछ और स्टेटमेंट्स ऑफ कोड है. ठीक है, ये है तुम्हारा फॉर लूप का कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट. नाउ फॉर लूप इज अ डेफिनिट लूप. व्हाई इज अ डेफिनिट लूप? Because here the programmer will know exactly how many times the loop will repeat. If you know that how many times you will have to repeat your loop, it is better to use the for loop concept, because the number of times the loop has to be executed, it can be determined mathematically by checking this logical construct. This logical expression, you can determine how many times your loop will be executed. Suppose इस आई को हम लोग बोलते हैं लूप वेरिएबल या लूप काउंटर. ओके, आई के जगह तुम लोग कुछ भी ले सकते हो. यू कैन टेक ए, यू कैन टेक बी, यू कैन टेक एक्स, यू कैन टेक एम, एनीथिंग यू कैन टेक. ओके, it's a variable. So I is the loop variable. Now this loop variable is all, this is the initialization portion. I will just show it. This is the initialization portion, semicolon. This is the logic portion, semicolon, and this is the increment or decrement portion. Three portions are there in a single for loop construct. First time the loop variable is initialized, and it will initialize only once. And with every iteration, that is first time I was 0, okay, then this, suppose my n is 4, first time your I is 0, you will check this condition, is your 0 less than equal to 4? Yes. If it is true, enter into this block, do whatever task is given, and after it is done, return and do I plus plus. Now my I from 0 has become 1. Again I will check, 1 is less than equal to n? Yes. If it is true, enter into the loop, do all the tasks. When done, return to this, increment I. Now my I from 1 becomes 2. Again I will check back, 2 is less than equal to 4? Yes. Enter into the loop, do this task, return back, increment I is 3. Check the condition again, 3 is lesser than equal to 4? Yes. Enter this loop, do the task, go back after the task is done, increment I counter, I is 4. Again check the condition, 4 is less than equal to 4? Yes. Enter this loop, do the task, do whatever it is, return back, increment I from 4 becomes 5. Go back and check the condition, is 5 lesser than equal to 4? No. Once your condition is false, you will come out of this loop, you won't enter into this loop anymore, and here whatever statement is written outside the for loop, that will be executed serially. So you see the flow of control was continuously between these two. Each and every time the loop counter is incremented, the condition is checked. If the condition is satisfying, it is entering into the loop, it is doing all the tasks that is there, returning back, entering, returning back, condition check, enter, return back, condition check, enter, return back, condition check, false, come out of this loop, come to here. But this initialization part, it is done only once, right? And this initialization, it is not mandatory that you will have to initialize from 0, but you can initialize from anything. If you initialize from 2, then the loop construct will start from 2. Like this, if you initialize it to 1, it will start from 1. So depending on what is needed according to your program, you initialize that according to your own need of the program, and that will happen. But this initialization is done only once. And with each and every iteration, that is, this is one iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, fifth iteration, sixth iteration, like this. With each and every iteration, the value of the loop variable is updated. See, first it was 0, then it was 1, then it was 2. So the loop counter value, it is updated, right? And the condition is checked again and again with the updated values. First, the condition was checked with 0. Next, the condition is checked with 1, the updated value. Next, the value updated is 2, the condition is checked with 2. So the loop variable is, with every iteration, the value is updated and the condition is checked. Okay. So in the syntax of the for loop, the initialization of the loop variable it will allow the programmer to give a starting value to my loop variable. And this condition, it will specify that while the conditional expression is true, the loop should continue to repeat itself. And with every iteration, the condition when the loop will terminate should be approachable. So first my condition was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 5, my condition stopped, right? So with each and every iteration, you see we are heading towards the termination of the loop. With 5, my condition was false, so we did not enter into the for loop. We terminated and we executed the next statements which was written outside the for loop. So with every iteration, the condition when the loop will terminate, it should be approachable. So with every iteration, the loop variable must be initialized. Okay. So if you talk about the syntax, I have for, then I have the initialization part. Right? Then there is a semicolon. Then I have the condition part. Whatever your condition is, then there is a semicolon. Then I have the update loop variable part. It is not always mandatory that there will be an increment operator. It can be a decrement operator also. Anything it can be. I plus plus, not always necessary. It can be I plus plus, माने I equal to I plus 2 also. दो दो करके इंक्रीमेंट कर रहे, एक करके इंक्रीमेंट कर रहे, कुछ भी हो सकता है ना. So this is the way how we write the for loop, right? So again for loop is a entry control loop because पहले ही अगर condition false होगा तो loop में घुसेगा ही नहीं, है ना? So for loop and while loop are entry controls. It does a pre-testing, and do while loop is a exit control. It does a post testing. Okay.